You'll see them again. That's something I know wholeheartedly with every fiber of my being, inside and out, that you will connect with them. And a lot of people seem to think that there's people that I don't want to see on the other side, and you probably won't. It's something that is etched on your heart. It's the people that mean the most to you. It's the ones that you ache for, the the meaning for your grief.
Chris, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
So why don't we start by you sharing a little bit about yourself and your work and who you are?
So my name is Chris Bennett, and I'm the tarot medium online. I am a full-time psychic medium. I am also a hospice volunteer and a loving husband to my beautiful angel of a man. I read people's insights for a living, which is pretty unconventional, and there's no guarantee of what information will come through, but it's something I wholeheartedly trust, and each and every client that I see is exactly that, a trust fall. I provide meaningful, compassionate, genuine messages that I convey with renewal and hope.
Have you always been able to tap into, what do you call it, the other side, or tap in with spirits? How do you word it?
It's funny the way that you're actually wording it. It's not a sense of tapping into anything outside of yourself. You said exactly what I was about to say, is you tap into it. I used to think when I was a kid that this was all external, and sometimes that can be the case depending on the environment that you're in. But when I go into a trance-like state prior to each and every session, you tap in. You completely neutralize your emotions, almost tranquilize them until they're perfectly still. And when you meet with someone, I get a bit of anxiety meeting with the new client each and every time, because there's no guarantee of what could come through or what information. And that's my ego trying to be right. But I go within, I see what impressions emotionally are felt. And then from there, I'll get hit with a clairvoyant image or an impression. Sometimes it's like a high-speed memory that's played out very quickly, and I'll get a little bit of excitement. I'm like, oh, okay, that's something that I'm seeing, and I'll say exactly what it is. And then from there, it kind of unravels.
Have you ever tried to contact a loved one and they haven't been available?
Yes, actually, recently. So my thing is, if there's no contact made within the first 10 minutes or so, and mediumship readings, they tend to be about 30 minutes, but honestly, it's more of a sitting. You're making contact with someone that is on the other side. So recently, and I'm glad I get to share this because it's humbling whenever it happens, which is rare. And again, a bit of anxiety wanting to deliver something of value to someone. And it felt like there was just something off, and I wasn't able to see impressions. I wasn't getting hit with any kind of psychic insights. And my ego was trying to chomp at the bit to be like, okay, was this person someone that was close to you? I'm like, wait a minute. No, what am I doing? This isn't it. And I stopped everything and I said, I'm just going to go into this a little bit more delicately. Just give me a minute. Went back into it, and still nothing. So I said, it doesn't mean that they're not around you. It just means that I'm unable to connect with them at this moment. So they respected that, and it was their first mediumship experience ever. And it left them with a great taste in their mouth, knowing that I was providing them with authenticity, even if it wasn't something that connected. Gave them their money back and said, you can either book in with me on another date, or here's a referral to someone that I think would also connect with you. And I don't believe in collusion. I think there's something really special about these readings.
Do you believe that once we transition, do we all go to the same place?
So I don't actually think we all go to the same place. I think there's different frequencies for everyone. It's almost like I see it as a different note, or a different frequency is the best way to put it. I think depending on the vibrational element that you live your life in, it tends to resonate with where you end up. Some people, I don't want to use the words low vibrational people, but if somebody's been rather callous or egotistical or selfish, I don't necessarily connect with them on the same way that I can with that fluidity of someone who is coming in at a very loving vibration or a very gentle sense of peace. It's easier to connect with people like that, maybe because I'm meeting them halfway and they're coming down to where I am, or from within. It's merging a little bit easier. But it doesn't mean that people end up in a bad place if they are selfish or egotistical. It's just a little bit harder for me to sense them.
What is the most memorable experience you have while trying to contact someone?
There's so many. They're so cool. So recently, again, one thing that comes to mind is I was about halfway through the reading. I lose a sense of time during them, and I saw a flash of 1973. I'm like, 1973, and then I saw a blue Ford. Not too sure what kind, make, or whatnot, but I said, "Oh, a blue Ford, 1973," and there's a crash. And then I saw the word mom, and I said, "You have to tell your mom about this." It would confirm to her something about the person that was involved. I get the sense everyone lived. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and it's not something that you would know either, because my client was younger than that, and she told her mom about it later and sent me a text saying, "You won't believe this, but my mom's ex-partner was involved in a crash in 1973 with a blue Ford, and he lived. And now we're not too sure if he's on the other side or not." So that was unique and different, and not anything anyone could ever look up. It's a validating point that someone you care for is on the other side.
So, do you think that was validation that that person is now on the other side?
I get the sense that it was, but I'm not too sure because I need that from the client and I don't have that information. But that was something that just came out of nowhere, and it's something that I had to say. And another favorite of mine was more names have been coming through. I've been begging to hear exact voices from very loving, beneficial spirits, and more exact names and details have been coming through, which I'm very happy with. And it's active listening that really opens that up, which can be a challenge to really close off that monkey mind and let that in. One of my other favorites that I really wanted to share was there was a lady that I was reading for. So many accurate bits were landing, and then I kept seeing a bowl of candy, and I didn't know what to make of it. And it just kept getting closer. It was almost like when you close your eyes and you imagine something, and it was just closing in. I'm like, I really don't know how to say this, but there's something about candy. Was that important? Or was this about blood sugar? Or I'm not too sure. And my client froze and burst into tears. I just said the person's name that she was looking to connect with. Her name was Candace, but she went by Candy.
That's a good one. That's really nice.
So the illusion is that psychics know everything or that we have an all-knowing perception, but that's not the case. It's a very dedicated frame of mind. It's very sensitive, and it's something very sacred to me.
No, I totally get that. Is there one thing you would want everyone to know about their loved ones once we transition that might be helpful?
That you'll see them again. That's something I know wholeheartedly with every fiber of my being, inside and out, that you will connect with them. And a lot of people seem to think that there's people that I don't want to see on the other side, and you probably won't. It's something that is etched on your heart. It's the people that mean the most to you. It's the ones that you ache for, the meaning for your grief. It's the depths of your love for someone. So I know wholeheartedly through all the work that I've done and being a hospice volunteer that they come to collect you when it's your time, and they're there for you, and they comfort you in ways that are unimaginable as human beings. But it's something that I've seen.
So when we are starting to transition, how people say they see their loved ones, that's something that you have experienced when you volunteered or seen people experience as they were transitioning?
Yes. Yeah, and it's not like Hollywood portraying it. It's not somebody vaporizing or materializing in the room out of nowhere. Sometimes, but usually it's a little bit more sensitive and subtle than that. It's when I'm looking deep into someone's eyes in the hospice where I practice active listening. That's my church. And I'll be looking into a patient's eyes, having a very quiet moment. One thing that I've learned through this work is that every single one of us goes nonverbal prior to our time. It's not something that I ever really thought of, but our vocal cords are the first to go, and it's all soft tissue. So we tend to lose our voice. And I noticed that they would be pointing at someone in the room, and their eyes would widen, and I could feel their emotions get big out of nowhere. And they want to show me something. And then as I close my eyes and go further within, I'm like, oh, that's your partner. They've come to collect you, or that's your mother. Sometimes I'll say things like that, and they'll start nodding. I'm like, oh my goodness, you can see them, and I can get impressions of who they may be. But that's not my place to be a psychic in that world.
Okay, so my question was whenever they do come to help their loved ones transition, you can see them, but you choose not to?
I can see them, but I'm there to give my energy to someone who might need it. So my focus is on active listening to exchange my energy with theirs to make sure that they feel comfortable, even if there's no physical contact. So it kind of takes me out of the psychic space. But sometimes in very quiet moments when there's not a whole lot of disturbances or noise or frequencies or beeps and all the things that come with a hospice, it's something that I can see wholeheartedly.
Has there ever been a time when someone was starting to transition and no one came?
Not that I've seen. Not once. There's one person who they're quite difficult, and I mean, they really just wanted to be alone all the time. And that doesn't mean that they were difficult in any typical sense. It just means they were very unhappy with the process of their lives ending, and they were taking it out on service people that were just trying to make them comfortable. And none of us take it personally at all. Nobody does. We hang our egos up at the door. But this person was getting more and more rigid as time went on. And eventually I started knocking on their door and I said, "Hey, do you mind if I bring you a popsicle?" And they're like, "Yeah, I would love that." And I came in and I felt a presence that was almost a fragrant roses or a white flower. And I'm like, "Did somebody bring flowers to you?" And he's like, "No. Why would they do that?" I'm like, "Where's that coming from?" And then I felt the presence of a wife person or a female spirit. There's someone that was very much full of love. And it feels like anticipation in the pit of your stomach, like Christmas morning, like falling down a roller coaster or being at the altar on your wedding day. And all these memories came in and I couldn't say anything, but I just looked at him and I said, "There's somebody very special around here." And he's like, "I think so too." I'm like, "Okay, good. I'll leave you alone now." So somebody even came to get him, but I get the sense that even if somebody's a shut-in or they've lived a very rigid life or they're trying to control things, in my findings, there's still somebody there that's waiting for you. So no, I haven't seen not one experience where somebody didn't come to get you.
And the experience you were just talking about, when you left him alone, did he transition then?
Not right then and there. It was a lot of the times it's when you're off shift. There's been very few people that I've had the experience of being there for to comfort them in their moments or their family, which are sacred. And yeah, he went in his own way, on his own time, peacefully.
Is there a common trend when contacting spirits in their energy shift or outlook in their new reality? Like, is everyone at peace that you've communicated with?
Most of them, yeah, there's been some. I've been to very haunted locations, extremely haunted locations, and I've sensed people who have lived a tormented life. And there's almost echoes of their emotional residue in those places, or perhaps they didn't know that they've been gone and they're just living in a pattern that was quite familiar to them. But otherwise, every connection I've felt has been quite loving, peaceful, and it's anticipation. It's that pull, that visceral feeling that's familiar, and it feels like someone that you've known your entire life, even if they're someone else's family. So that's what bridges the connection for communication.
In the haunted places you were talking about, do you mean almost like ghost? Do you believe that that is something that is real?
Absolutely, wholeheartedly, yes. So one of the places that this was at was I've been to many, many haunted locations. And it doesn't always feel like there's going to be anything reactive or anything. Sometimes they're kind of shy. You're in somebody else's space that they considered home once. But it's when the time is right and you've settled into that space that you'll notice that things are a little off, or doors will shut and open on their own, faucets will turn on, the lights will do more than flicker, the switches will turn on. A whole breaker got switched once, and as somebody went to turn it on, it switched back on. We've had knocks on the wall that answered yes or no. One of the reasons why I got into this work wholeheartedly was after a very successful seance with another psychic and 4 other people who witnessed an apparition appear in front of all of us. It validated to me that not only life goes on, but everything that I was seeing and sensing was accurate.
So ghosts, so they are unaware that they transition.
Sometimes they're just like people, right? So some people have self-awareness and some people don't. And if you've lived in a pattern, it's almost like imagine a tiger being stuck in a cage, forced to walk circles its entire life. You set it free, it still might walk in circles because it doesn't know any different.
So the ghosts that do know their ghosts almost kind of without meaning to choose to continue to stay a ghost.
Sometimes people have difficulty moving on in life and in death, and when it's their time, they may take a look around and realize that they'd like to experience more around here from that state of being. Sometimes they can become jealous in watching us live our life. Eating an apple can become something that they wish they could experience again, but don't know how. And so if they stay too long here without purpose or unfinished business, it can really add some residual emotions that are keeping them here, essentially. But most of the time, it's because they want to watch their family. But what they don't realize, from what I've gathered, is that even if they go through that tunnel at the end of the light, they can always come back and visit. They can always watch their family, and they can see everyone that they love from where they are from a different perspective.
I love that. When people come to you for readings, is there a common feeling or trend with how they are feeling after the loss of a loved one? Like, do majority of people just want closure, or do they feel guilty, or do they want answers? What's the most common trend you see there?
The most common trend is curiosity, which I think is the best client. I believe that I helped cultivate that because I don't want people coming seeking dependency on someone else to communicate emotions from someone on the other side. They're right there within you. It's just even more validating when an absolute stranger can give you those details to prove to you that your love just changed form. It's still there.
What's the biggest piece of advice you have for anyone that is early in their grief?
First and foremost, my heart is with you. There's no words, even if somebody has gone through grief or is more so living in it, because it's not something you go through. It's something you carry with you. Whether that's like a fashionable backpack or a 5-piece luggage is up to you, whatever you're comfortable moving throughout life with. It's opening each and every one of those pieces, and you don't need to put them in order. It's just acknowledging and feeling the emotions as they surface. I see emotions like water, and grief feels like you're drowning. And sometimes it's easy to hold on to anything to feel like you can survive. And sometimes that could be a piece of driftwood. So it's feeling every emotion as it surfaces, letting people into that vulnerable space. Your vulnerability is a sacred space, and it's very important that you connect with people in your own due time. Connection with community is important eventually, but just know that every feeling you're feeling is valid, and it's part of the human experience, and it just deepens your love for who you lost.
What is your biggest piece of advice for anyone that knows they are going to transition soon?
Oh, that's a huge one. That's a great question, Libby. It's so different. Each person is so different. But one story that really sticks out was every single person is so different when it comes to their time. And I thought it would be, we imagine it when we are full of life and vitality as a very serene, peaceful moment with just meditation and just a very perfect, beautiful environment, when in reality, it's usually somebody watching a hockey game or Deal or No Deal or their favorite TV show or playing a game on their phone. It feels very similar to all the things that we do when we're bored. So I think it's important to face yourself at some point in your life, whether you are on your deathbed or after you hang up this phone call, to be okay with yourself, to get to know yourself, cracks and all. It's knowing that temporary aspects of life are what make it so unique. It's what makes you so unique. You'll reconnect with everyone on the other side. But one story that really sticks out with me that I love was when I first started volunteering at the hospice. There was this lady who, she didn't really want a whole lot of visitors. She was okay with it, but you could tell she was uneasy with just being in that position. And one day I walked past and she was brushing her hair, and I entered her space and said, "Hey, do you mind if I brush your hair for you?" And she's like, "You want to brush my hair?" And it was a way to get behind her so that way she didn't feel that intimidation with eye contact or having to say something. And I just brushed her hair, and I got an impression of a solo trip, like an adventure. And I said, "Have you ever gone on an adventure by yourself?" She said, "Yeah, I went to Italy because no one else would go with me. And I was so scared when I got to the airport. I almost canceled the flight, turned around and went home. But I got on it. And when I got there, I realized I got to just observe people and I got to do everything on my own time. and I got to eat where I wanted to. And funny enough, I ran into a friend over there that I hadn't seen since college. And it clicked. That analogy that she had said for herself made her realize that she was just going on a solo adventure to somewhere that she'd never been before. And all these things that she experienced on that perhaps were waiting for her on the other side. Oh, got me emotional.
That's a good one. That
So,
that's yeah, that is a good one. Do you have any other advice or any stories or anything you want to share?
uh, there's so many, and all at the same time, not enough. When it comes to letting go, I also realize that sometimes it's not the big grand hallmark thing that you see for yourself. It's not all of your family surrounding you, and perhaps it won't be you surrounding your loved one. It's saying goodbye in your own time. It's treating life as if it's going to end tomorrow, which is so much easier said than done. What really inspired me to do a lot of what I'm doing outside of being psychic, more so hospice volunteer work, is because my sister is deathly afraid of death. So it's terrified, anxiety filled, and she faced cancer and survived. But even still, that anxiety is there. And I realize, okay, what if we could prepare for it in a different way that's on your terms? So I urge anyone who's listening to this to make a video for your loved ones. Put a little secret link in somewhere and put it at the back of either a card or leave it somewhere. I keep a family book since becoming a hospice volunteer, of a binder with, first of all of our expenses, because that's important for living. But at the back, I wrote a letter for my partner. And at the bottom, it's got a few YouTube links that I will never watch back on because they're so emotional. And I add to them every year. Every year, I make a new video for them in case of an accident. And then also, if I do go on a solo trip, which is often, I will make a video specifically for that, and I'll schedule it in an email to land in their inbox 1 week after I'm supposed to be back home. And I set a reminder on my phone saying cancel that email. But they would get that a week after saying, hey, if you're getting this, chances are I'm not here anymore. Just know that this is what I learned about love from you, and this is what you mean to me. And all anyone in life wants to hear is what you learned about love through knowing them. Say that while you're alive.
That's really good. I've wanted to start doing the videos, but I'm going to start doing the videos.
It's tough because people who make videos, we do it knowing that it's going to reach someone. But when you make a secret video, your ego has to step out of the way, and you know that you hope that nobody has to watch it, but you have to put all of that aside and just make it about them. What did you learn about love through them? It doesn't have to be a long thing either. People just want to hear the sound of your voice long after you're gone. They want to see your mannerisms. They want to see how you move. They want to see how your eyebrows move about your face as you're conveying emotions. So try not to be robotic. Be real with it. Be candid and speak to them as if they are right there with you.
I think that's great. I think that's so great. Chris, where can people find you?
You can find me online at www.thetarotmedium.com. I am an avid article writer. That's my form of communication that I love doing. So I publish articles at least 2 times a week. And then you can find me on Instagram at The Tarot Medium and on YouTube at The Tarot Medium.
Chris, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. I know you came from a long day, so I am very grateful for you.
Libby, you got me emotional for some reason just thinking of all these responses, but it was your mom that you lost, right?
Yes, I lost my mom.
When did that happen?
April 21st, 2023.
I'm so sorry for your loss. And I'm just curious, do you see any signs from her or feel her?
Yeah, I don't feel her a lot, but I get very specific signs from her. On anniversary of her, the 1 year anniversary of her passing, I tried to do things that she enjoyed doing while she was here. So I went to estate sales because she loved a yard sale. And one of my favorite memories with her as an adult is the bracelets with the words? We had both made each other a bracelet, and they said, I love you. And at this estate sale, there was a bead set, and the marketing poster for the bead set was 2 bracelets that said, I love you. And the middle bracelet was her name.
What? You couldn't ask for a bigger sign. Did you just crumble into tears right then and there?
It made me feel better because I wasn't feeling so good about her death. Like, I thought she was very confused when she died because she was in my dreams a lot. So it made me feel way better. And then this last year, I went to estate sales as well. And there was a book, and I bought it. I don't remember the author's first name, but his last name was Libby. And the title of the book was You're Not Alone. So it literally said, Libby, you're not alone.
Isn't that so fascinating?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah, your mom's absolutely with you. The best way is just keep going forward and carry her values. Everything, all the feelings that she made you feel when you were a little kid, and she got on your level and inspired you to be creative and fascinated by the world, keep going with that.
That's what I'm trying to do for sure.
Yeah, grief is not linear, and you can't have expectations otherwise. It's just know that she's there for you even on your rainy days when you have a little mental breakdown.
A little minty bee.
A little minty bee.
Thank you so much for watching Lost and Found. If you like this episode, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. There will be new episodes every Friday. And if nothing else, just remember that grief is really, really hard. You don't have to do it alone. And I love you. And until next time.